Herbert Esmahan. Herbert, thank you so much indeed for your time. Isn't this a dangerous move for El Salvador? These guys are allegedly hardened criminals.
Well, allow me to tell you, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. And second, El Salvador has actually mastered controlling crime. Our country, to give it a little more context, used to be one of the most dangerous countries in the entire world. And now, under President Bukele's leadership, we have managed to control crime and restore safety and security to the people. El Salvador will have no problem handling these dangerous criminals that have come into our territory now to be imprisoned in the Terrorist Confinement Center, CCOT, which is a prison that meets all the international standards that are required to contain high-level individuals that are a danger to society, such as these.
But why take in foreign criminals? Some of those who have been deported are El Salvadorian nationals, but the vast majority are not. So why take in foreigners?
I understand that is a question that many people ask, and to answer it briefly, El Salvador wants to give a global example and is giving a global example that in order for a nation to thrive, in order for the nations of the world to thrive, not just itself, we all have to work as a team. Nations have to collaborate with each other to solve their common issues, their common problems. For far too long, we have lived in a world where global politics have been isolationist. Each country has tried to resolve their own nation's problem without seeking help, without seeking a helping hand. And President Bukele has done a magnificent job at extending his hand and offering help to an allied nation.
Yes, but the Americans, Herbert, haven't provided any evidence of what criminality these prisoners may have been involved in. And El Salvador doesn't know either. So wouldn't it have been, at least in the legal sense, an obligation for El Salvador to say to the Americans, show us the evidence, sure, pay us the money, we'll take them, we'll keep them in that maximum security prison, but we need to know what they're charged with, because otherwise it just looks like a kind of more civilized Guantanamo Bay.
Believe me when I tell you, Adnan, that if they were not confirmed criminals, if they were not confirmed gang members, they would not be accepted into our prisons. In El Salvador, to give you a little more context, the people of El Salvador used to live oppressed. They have been dealing with the horrendous crimes that these gang members, these criminal structures are capable of committing. And we have learned everything we had to learn as a society, not only to identify, but to contain these kinds of criminals. In El Salvador, you used to see situations in which people could not even send their children to school because most of these criminal gang members, for example, I'm speaking about MS-13, they wouldn't think twice before killing children as young as 5 years old. And Tren de Aragua from Venezuela is no different. Believe me when I tell you, Adnan, that criminals such as these have no place in a civilized society. They're a danger to everyone. And in order for the nations of the world to be able to prosper, collaborate, and evolve humanity, we can't have people that pose such a risk to our citizens.
Let's just look at the bigger picture finally, Herbert, if you don't mind. Is President Bukele Donald Trump's biggest ally in Central America? There are many Central American nations that look at the American president with suspicion.
I'll tell you something. In El Salvador, we're very politically neutral. We've surpassed the left wing and right wing ideologies. In El Salvador, the way the government functions is that we do a common sense approach. In fact, President Bukele has achieved something that very few leaders have been able to achieve in current political times, which is bringing the people of El Salvador, bringing the people of the nation together. The people in El Salvador have let go of their political ideologies and they have come together to solve issues that affect everyone, common ground. And in El Salvador, as long as we have foreign governments that are willing to take the same approach, we're gonna extend a helping hand, because the only purpose that President Bukele has is the well-being of the Salvadoran people. The only interest he has is the well-being of his people. So if by doing so, if by helping President Trump bring in these criminals, El Salvador will benefit, then why not do it?
Herbert Esmahan, really appreciate your participation. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you.